What's going on, guys? I'm Bill and welcome to Bill's How To. Today I'm going to show you guys step by step how to replace an existing door with a new one. So you can tell this one here has seen better days, fair bit of damage. It can be repaired, however in this case here it's much easier to simply replace it. Let's get straight into it. Let's do this. Alright guys, so this here is the door that we're going to be replacing, and as you can tell there's a bit of damage down along the side of the door here. Technically I can repair this, repaint it, and it'll look as good as new. However, the amount of time that I'm going to have to spend patching, drying, sanding and repeat the process to get a nice smooth finish, it's not really worth the effort, especially with a hollow core door like this one here. It's only worth about $35, much easier to just simply replace it. Another thing to note is somebody's tried to put some touch-up paint up here. They've used the wrong color and the wrong type of paint. What they've done is this door was originally painted with an oil-based paint. If you're not sure if it's an oil-based or a water-based, I've got a separate video on that. You guys can check it out. But you have to make sure that you're using the wrong type of paint on top of the existing paint. So generally speaking, water-based can only go over water-based paint. Oil can go over both water and oil-based paints. So in this case here, oil-based paint is what's been used on the door, and they've tried to touch up over the top, once again with the wrong color, but they've tried to touch up over the top with a water-based paint. And what happens is the paint just simply doesn't adhere, and if you try and scratch all that paint there off, it just comes right off, it just peels right off, no adhesion, and that's why it's very important to make sure you've got the right paint. So I'm going to show you guys just how easy this is step by step to replace this door. So now we've got our new door ready to go. Always keep in mind the side that the lock goes on. Now when you're installing a hollow core door, which means it's not solid all the way through, you generally just have a bit of timber that runs all the way around the edge and a little bit more on this side right here. So this side here is the side that we need to install our lock on. So you can see there, hollow core doors, lock center, this side only. So just make sure you're always putting your lock on that side there. What I'm going to do now is remove the existing door. So we'll simply remove the hardware, take off the hinges, take off the handle, and remove whatever's left over from our door stop here. So we'll start off by removing our door handles. This one here simply gets pried off like that, and we've got a screw on this side. We'll do the same thing on the other side. This one here has one screw on the back, one screw on the front. Same thing on the front. Once we've got our covers off, we can then remove the screw. Make sure not to lose these. Same thing on this side. Remove our handles and remove the latch as well. Remove the hinges. I always take off the top one first. That way once the weight drops down, it simply sits on the floor and I can take off the bottom one. Now we can take our old door and simply drop that on top of our new door. Make sure we line everything up, so make sure all these edges are all lined up. So now we've got the old door on top of the new door and our lock is on the correct side. So always make sure you've got your lock on the correct side. Nice and smooth, flush on this side here, the base all the way around, everything's nice and smooth. It's all flush, so that means we can now transfer our measurements from the existing lock or from the previous lock over to our new door. Same thing with the hinges on the other side. So now you can take a pencil, mark out the location for our lock and also for our latch. Mark up the hinge locations. Do a little marking so we know which way the hinge is going to be going. Repeat the process for our second hinge. And now we can get rid of this old door. So we're going to be using the Milwaukee door lock jig. This one here makes life so much easier, probably about $20–30 to drill out your hole for both your latch and also your lock. So really worth the investment. I've got a review on these if you're also interested. Simply line it up with the existing markings that we've got. Clamp it all down. We're going to use our hole saw. We've got a 54mm hole saw bit here and just drill through the hole. Every now and again, check underneath. Once the drill bit tip goes through the other side, pull the drill out and use the hole saw from the bottom end. That way we're not going to have any blowout on the door. It's not going to damage your face. And that's now through the other side. Remove our piece of timber, and now we switch over to the 25mm and we're going to drill the hole for our latch. Then we can unclamp it. And we've got that ready to go. So now we're going to use the Ryobi latch tool. Awesome little investment, once again, makes life so much easier. Better than chiseling this one here out. Simply slot that little notch right there into the hole, line everything up, and then we're going to beat down on this with the hammer. That's going to create all the markings or the outlines for us. Then we're going to use the back end and we're going to chisel out that excess material. So just make sure it's all square, you're happy with the position. Wiggle it out. Then you're going to flip it over and we're going to use this little section here to chisel out that excess material. Drop it in the hole and chisel up. A little bit more. Now we've taken out that excess material. And you can see we've got a perfect little cutout right there, perfect for our latch to sit into. We'll do the same thing on the other side. So flip it around. So now we flip the door over, take the actual hinge that's going to be used, and we're going to line that up with our markings that we made on the door. Once we've got it in the location that we want, take the screw and just simply mark out the center. In case it moves while you're screwing this in, you've still got your center points there. Screw it into place. Make sure you're happy with the location before you move on. That's why I haven't gone all the way through yet. So make sure everything is lined up 100%. Tighten that up. And now we can take a utility blade, and all we're going to do is just simply score around the edge here, just a very light line. All the way around. Once that's done, you can remove your hinge. And now we've got this section here all marked out. So if you want, you can go over it once more. We're going to be using a handheld router in a second, and this is going to give us a perfect finish. So now we can take a handheld router. In this case here, we're using a Ryobi. We've had this one here for years, doing an awesome job, still working strong, and it doesn't have to be an expensive one. All you want to do is make sure you've got your depth set at the right thickness, so the thickness of our hinge. And we're just going to basically take out all this section here, remove all the excess material so that we can slot our hinge in. I'm going to go as close as I can to this line here. If there's anything left at the end, we'll simply just cut that little section there out. But this is an awesome way to get perfect hinges. Once that's done, you can take the utility knife again, go around the edge, make sure it's all nice and clean, or you can use a chisel if you really like. As I've said in a previous video that I've done, I prefer to use the utility blade. A lot better control. Go around all these edges. Go back over the top if it's not deep enough yet, and it'll just simply snap right off. Then you can take the hinge, make sure everything fits nicely. We've got a perfect finish right there. So we're going to repeat the process on the other side. And now we can reinstall the door. And now we can reinstall the locks. Now this is just for demonstration purposes. I've still got to paint this door, but I'm just going to show you guys, make sure we test everything out, that it's all functioning the way it should be. And the last thing to check is that our door closes properly. It's functioning as it should be, so simply close it, make sure it latches. And there we have it, guys. So it's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. That is the absolute easiest way to replace a door. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed the video. Obviously I still need to paint it, but this was for demonstration purposes. So I'm still going to paint it and get everything reinstalled once again. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed the video. You've learned something new. As always, like, comment and subscribe. Until next time, I'm Bill. Thanks for watching Billshowto.